You're 27. You work a dead-end job. 40 hours a week in a cubicle that smells like old coffee and broken dreams. Your boss doesn't know your name. He calls you buddy. You make $42,000 a year before taxes. After rent, after car payments, after student loans, you've got nothing. You eat ramen 3 nights a week. Not the good kind, the 30-cent kind. Then you run into him, Mike, old college buddy. You weren't close, but you weren't strangers either. He catches you at a gas station, random, totally random. But he looks different, confident, clean, nice watch, new truck. Not the Mike you remember from econ class. He says, I got an idea. Hear me out. You listen. He talks fast, smooth. He's got a plan, a vision. Freight logistics, small scale. Local businesses need reliable delivery. Big companies are too expensive. There's a gap. He sees it. He says, I need a partner, someone I can trust, someone who's not afraid to grind. I handle the clients. You handle the ops. You nod, but inside, you're already burning. Because you've wanted out for years. Out of the cubicle, out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle, out of the life where you count quarters at the gas pump. And here it is, a shot, a real shot. The first one in 27 years. You start. 2 clients. 1 beat-up cargo van with 200,000 miles on it. You load it yourself, drive it yourself, unload it yourself. Your back screams, your hands blister. At night, you sit at your kitchen table and count cash. Your wife makes coffee and says nothing. She doesn't believe in this. You can see it in her eyes. She thinks you'll burn through your savings and crawl back to the cubicle. But she doesn't stop you. And you love her for that. First 3 months, nothing. Worse than nothing. You're bleeding money. Gas, insurance, repairs. You put in your savings, all of it. Everything you scraped together in 5 years of cube life. Mike puts in his share too. At least that's what he says. You don't check. Why would you? He's your partner. Trust is the whole point. Month 4. First real contract. A furniture chain. Regional. 15 stores. You don't sleep for 2 days straight. You coordinate everything. Routes, timing, loading sequences. Mike shows up for the handshake. He's good at handshakes. Good at eye contact. Good at making people feel like they're dealing with someone important. You're not. You're the guy with grease on his jeans and bags under his eyes. You're the engine. He's the paint job. And that's fine. For now. By year 1, 3 vans, 5 drivers. A tiny office in a strip mall next to a dry cleaner. You hire a bookkeeper. Mike brings in a lawyer. His guy. Old friend from somewhere. You shrug. What does it matter whose lawyer it is? Things are working. You're 28, and for the first time in your life, you feel like you're building something real, something yours, something that matters. You look at Mike and think, I got lucky, found a good one, a real one. You have no idea that in 4 years, he'll take everything from you. Year 2. You grow. Fast. Scary fast. 10 vans, then 15, then 20. You can't keep up. Contracts, warehouses, schedules. You sleep 4 hours a night, if you're lucky. You don't see your family. Your daughter's in bed when you leave, in bed when you get back. Your wife says, you're disappearing. You say, just a little longer. It'll get easier, I promise. You believe it. You really do. Mike handles business development. Meetings, lunches, golf with potential clients, dinners at places where the appetizers cost more than your old daily wage. He wears nice suits now. Gets his haircut at a real barber, not supercuts. Drives a BMW. Leased, but still. He looks the part. You don't go to those dinners. You're too busy. And honestly, it's not your thing. You don't know how to talk about market positioning over a glass of Cabernet. You know how to route 16 deliveries across 3 counties without a single delay. That's your language. And you're fluent. You build the entire system from scratch. Routes, schedules, quality control, fleet maintenance cycles, fuel tracking, driver management. Everything that works in this company works because you didn't sleep. Because you triple-checked every invoice. Because you personally handled every crisis. Driver calls in sick, you're behind the wheel. Van breaks down on the highway, you're on the phone with the mechanic at midnight. Client complains, you call them yourself. Your voice, your time, your nerves. Year 3. Revenue hits 7 figures. Real money. Life-changing money. You buy a house. 3 bedrooms. Good school district. A backyard with a swing set. Your wife smiles for the first time in months. Your daughter starts kindergarten. You think, this is it. I made it. I climbed out of the hole. But there are things you don't notice. Or don't want to notice. Small things. Mike makes decisions without you now. Signs papers you don't read. Takes meetings you hear about after the fact. You trust him. It's been 4 years. You started with 1 van and 2 clients. You survived the early days together. That kind of bond doesn't break. The lawyer, he's. The accountant, he's now too. He brought in a new one, said she was better, more experienced. You didn't argue. The office manager, his friend's wife. The new operations assistant, his college roommate. You look around one day and realize everyone in the building is his person, not yours. His. But you shake it off. Paranoia, stress. You need a vacation, that's all. Year 4. Mike proposes a restructuring. Says it's for tax optimization. Something about LLCs and liability protection. Everyone does it, he says. Standard stuff. He puts papers in front of you. A thick stack. Small print. Legal language you don't understand. You flip through it. Mike says, I had the lawyers go over everything. It's clean. Just sign. And you sign. Without reading. Because you trust him. That's your biggest mistake. Not your first, but the one that costs you everything. You just don't know it yet. Year 5. A regular Tuesday. October. You drive to the office like every other morning. Coffee from the gas station, badge swipe at the door, up the stairs. Your desk. You open your laptop. Password denied. You type it again. Slowly. Carefully. Denied. You figure it's a glitch. IT stuff. Happens all the time. You restart. Try again. Access denied. You walk to the IT guy's desk. Empty. His stuff is there, but he's not. Weird. You go to the front desk. Ashley won't look at you. She's organizing papers that don't need organizing. You ask, what's going on? She shakes her head, says, I can't. Talk to Mike. You call Mike. Rings. Long, empty rings. He doesn't pick up. You call again. And again. And again. 10 times. Nothing. You text. What's going on? Call me back. Read. No reply. You walk to his office. The door is locked. There's a new lock on it. A deadbolt that wasn't there yesterday. You stand in front of that door and feel your hands go cold. Something is wrong. Something is very, very wrong. Then your phone rings. Unknown number. A man's voice. Calm, professional. He introduces himself. Attorney, but not your attorney. Not the one down the hall. Someone else. He speaks politely, measured, like he's reading from a script he's rehearsed 10 times. He tells you the company is no longer affiliated with you, that you're not a co-owner, that according to the filed documents, you voluntarily withdrew from the LLC 6 months ago. Your signature, your initials, notarized, recorded, legal. You don't understand. The words are English, but they don't make sense. You ask him to repeat it. He does, patiently, like he's explaining something to a child. You are no longer a member of the LLC. The company you built for 5 years, with your hands, your back, your sleepless nights, belongs to Michael James Warren, sole owner, sole member. You sit in your truck in the parking lot, engine off. You stare at the building you walked into every single day for 5 years. The sign you designed. The windows of your office. And it hits you, slowly, piece by piece, like poison spreading through your bloodstream. You've been robbed. Not by some stranger on the street. Not by a con artist from the internet. By your partner. Your friend. The guy you split your last $100 with when the van broke down in year 1. The guy you trusted more than yourself. You call your wife. Your voice cracks. You say, "It's gone. Everything's gone." She's quiet for a long time. You hear her breathing. Then she says, "Come home." And you drive home, slowly, like you're underwater. Stoplights blur, lanes blur. You pull over on the shoulder halfway there, kill the engine, and just sit. 10 minutes, 20, an hour, 5 years. 5 years of your life gone with a signature you don't even remember writing. First week after. You visit lawyers. 3, 5, 7. Every time you tell the same story. Every time you see the same face. Sympathy and helplessness. They all say the same thing. Your signature, your initials, documents filed properly. Flawlessly, actually. On paper, you voluntarily left the LLC. No coercion, no threats, no evidence of fraud. Just a clean, legal signature on a clean, legal document. Your chances in court, slim, almost zero. His lawyer knew exactly what he was doing. Every clause airtight, every date matching, every formality followed to the letter. You were stripped clean, surgically. But that's not the worst part. A week later, the letters start coming. Certified mail. From banks. From lenders. Debts. Loans you co-signed as personal guarantor. You remember now. Yeah, you signed those. Mike said it was standard. The bank requires it. Nothing to worry about. Just a formality. And you signed. Every time. No questions. Mike loaded the company with debt. A lot of it. And the personal guarantor on every single loan is you. Not Mike. you. And now the company that doesn't belong to you isn't making payments, but the guarantor still owes. Legally, personally, every penny. The number. You stare at the number on the letter. Count the zeros. 1, 2, 3. Can't be right. You count again. It's right. It's more than your house is worth. The house you just bought. The one with the swing set in the backyard. The only real thing you have left. Your wife cries at night, quietly, into the pillow. She thinks you can't hear. You can. Every single time. And every single time, you clench your jaw until your teeth ache. Because there's nothing to say. You go through all the stages. Anger. You punch the garage wall. Bare knuckles. Drywall cracks. Skin splits. Blood on white paint. Your wife bandages your hand without a word. No yelling. No lecture. Somehow that's worse. Denial. Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe there's been a mix-up. Maybe Mike will call and say, "Bro, I messed up. Let's fix this." He doesn't call. He will never call. Bargaining. You text him a long message, humiliating to write. Let's talk. Let's work this out. I'll take a smaller share, 20%, 10, 5. Just give me something. He reads it. Blue check marks. No reply. Depression. You don't get off the couch for 3 days. Don't shower. Don't eat. The TV plays, but you don't see it. White noise. Your daughter walks up and tugs your sleeve. "Daddy, are you sick?" You say, "Yeah, baby, a little sick. I'll be better soon." She puts her stuffed bear next to you and walks away. You lie there and stare at that bear. And then you hit bottom. Real bottom. No job, no business, no money. Debts that make your vision go dark. A family watching you. Walls the bank might take. You're lying on that bottom, and you think, one option, break. Crawl into a bottle. Feel sorry for yourself. Be the victim. Forever. The other option, get up. Wash your face. Start over. You choose the second one. Not because you're brave. Because your daughter will walk up tomorrow morning and ask, "Daddy, are you better yet?" And you want to say, yes. You get up, shower, shave for the first time in a week. Look in the mirror. A stranger stares back. Gray, hollow, 32 going on 50. Fine, you'll deal with the face later. Right now, move. You sell the truck. Not the company van, that's gone. Your personal truck. The F-150 you bought when things were good. You loved that truck. You let it go. Pay off the most urgent debts. The ones with penalties and collection agencies already calling. The house, you managed to save it. Barely. Lawyer number 7, the last one you visited, found a loophole. Primary residence protection. Homestead exemption. But you need to file paperwork. Fast. And that costs money. Money you don't have. You borrow from your mother-in-law. Yeah, your mother-in-law. The woman who looked at you sideways since the wedding. The one who told your wife, "He'll never amount to anything." You drive to her condo, sit at her kitchen table, and ask. You're 32 years old, a grown man, sitting across from a retired woman and asking for money. She looks at you for a long time, then gets up, goes to her bedroom, comes back with a check, hands it to you, says nothing, not a single word, no judgment, no "I told you so." First time in your life you're truly grateful for this woman. Down to your bones. You get a job. A regular job. Salaried. Back to the cubicle. Back to the commute. Back to the fluorescent lights and the boss who calls you buddy. You're 32. Right back where you started, at 27. Like nothing happened. Like those 5 years were a dream someone else had. You work. Quietly. You don't tell your story. Nobody at the office knows who you were 6 months ago. Nobody will. Days, the cubicle. Evenings, freelance consulting gigs on the side. Nights, you think. You plan. You sketch on napkins. The insomnia stayed with you from the business years. It used to be your enemy. Now, it's your weapon. 3 months in, you find a niche. A different one. Not freight. You'll never go back to freight. But you know logistics. You know how supply chains work, where money leaks, where time burns, where systems break. You see what others can't see, because you spent 5 years inside the machine. You knew every gear. Mike took the company, but he couldn't take what's in your head. Can't sign that away. Can't file paperwork for someone's brain. You start consulting, solo, no partners, never again. You are your own lawyer, your own accountant, your own everything. You read every document, every line, every word. You will never sign anything you don't understand. Not ever again. First client. A small flower delivery company. 12 employees. You optimize their routes. Save them 22% on fuel costs. They can't believe it. They check your numbers. Run them twice. It holds. They recommend you to someone else. Second client. Third. Fifth. 10th. 6 months later, you quit the cubicle. A year later, stable income. Not millions, but enough. You pay off the last debt. Drive to your mother-in-law's condo. Put a check on her table. With interest. She refuses. You insist. She takes it. And for the first time in 6 years of knowing you, she smiles. That's enough. 2 more years pass. You grow. Quietly. No flash, no golf dinners. You grow the way roots grow. Deep, invisible, but strong. It's not just consulting anymore. You build a platform, software. You automate everything you knew by hand. Route optimization, cost modeling, fleet analytics. You write a 40-page spec, find developers, vet everyone. Invest everything you earned in 18 months. Every dollar. Risk it all. Again. But this time, your rules. Every contract through your own lawyer. Every clause understood. Every line read. The platform launches. First 2 months, silence. Free subscriptions. 5. You don't panic. You've been to the bottom. The bottom doesn't scare you anymore. Month 3. A write-up in a trade publication. Subscriptions pick up. Small businesses first, then mid-size. You hire. 5 people. 10. 20. You get an office. A real one. And on every document, one name. Yours. One signature. One owner. And Mike, you keep tabs. Not out of revenge. Out of cold, clean curiosity. Freight margins collapsed. Aggregators moved in. The market shifted. And Mike can't do what you did. He can shake hands. He can pitch a vision over a steak dinner. But he can't calculate load distributions at 2 in the morning. Can't fix a routing algorithm when the system crashes. Can't do the dirty, invisible work that makes a business run. The company sinks. Clients leave. Drivers quit. Equipment falls apart. Mike takes loans. Patches holes. Takes more loans. Classic death spiral. You watch it happen and feel nothing. Just empty space where anger used to be. Then something you didn't plan. One of Mike's biggest clients finds you through your website. They say, "We need your platform." You look at the company name and recognize it. That contract, you brought it in 5 years ago. Cold called them yourself. Your client, who is now your client again. On your terms. Within 6 months, half of Mike's former clients run through your system. You didn't poach them, didn't call, didn't scheme. You just built something better. And the market did what markets do. Mike closes the company. Quietly. You find out by accident. Dissolution filing in the state registry. You stare at the screen and feel nothing. No joy, no triumph. Just a line in a database. You're 35. You have a company, a family, a house. Everything you dreamed about at 27 under fluorescent lights. But now you know the real price of every one of those words. Because you paid for each of them twice. Sometimes in the evening, after your daughter's asleep, you step out onto the porch. Stand there, say nothing, look at the street, and you think, "Thanks, Mike. Seriously. You took everything from me, and by doing that, you forced me to become someone I never would have been. You showed me there is no ceiling. You gave me the most brutal and most valuable lesson of my life." You didn't forgive him. No. Let's not do the beautiful words thing. You didn't forgive him, and you're not going to. But you outgrew him. And that hits harder than any revenge ever could.